Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a Fiend Artisan build of Green White Black Maverick. So on Wednesday night we played a green-white version, which is here, which was a pretty normal Maverick list, with a few exceptions. So we were playing the two Fiend Artisans, and then we were making use of its ability by playing some value creatures. So we're playing two voice, which weren't too bad. Renegade Rallier was actually probably the standout. It was really nice. A few turns, just being able to play it on turn 3 and get back a Wasteland was really nice. And also to get back some of our smaller creatures in Collector Ouphe, Scavenging Ooze, Scryb Ranger. A little worse when Swords to Plowshares and Terminus and a few other exile effects are around, but when Lightning Bolt and Fatal Push and Supreme Verdict are kind of the main removal for a lot of decks, Renegade Rallier is pretty nice because usually you have a few options in your graveyard for what you want to get back. So Rallier is pretty strong. I'm going to keep it in this black version as well. The real nice part of Fiend Artisan is it's kind of a green suns for non-green creatures. So I was playing a Prelate and a Palace Jailer in the main deck, and then a Mirror Crusader on the sideboard, which is pretty sweet. We've adapted pretty much the same outcome for this green white black deck. Still playing the Prelate, but now playing Plague Engineer, which I think is definitely one of the main reasons right now to be playing the Black Splash in Maverick. And then a few other choices that we missed out on. So I took out the Hex Drinker. I didn't think it was too good. There were a few times where I really wanted to play it out, but I just knew that I couldn't pop the mana into it without it getting bolted or parked in response. And of course, ticking up Hex Drinker is different to getting +1/+1 counters. So it doesn't really do that much through an Oko, which is unfortunate. But I'm playing a Sylvan Safekeeper. So I'm playing Safekeeper as mum number 4. A lot of lists have actually moved down to just 3 mums and 3 Thalias. So Safekeeper comes in as mum number 4, and Prelate comes in as Thalia number 4. Both of these can, of course, be found with Fiend Artisan. Prelate in this deck a little bit better than Death and Taxes because we can cast it as early as turn 2, which is really nice. Prelate, really interesting. We're playing Ramanap in the board, but you could definitely play it in the main deck if you are going to go pretty aggressive with Safekeeper. Safekeeper doesn't just give you instant Shroud, it also gives you a really nice way to close out games that your opponent might not have calculated because they didn't think you could sack your lands and swing with a Knight that's now, +6 instead of +2. So Safekeeper is pretty sweet. I do like it as a Fiend Artisan target because they have to respond with some sort of removal in response to the activation. They can't do it in response to Sylvan hitting the field, or they really have no opportunity because it's going to be online straight away. It doesn't really have the same issues with Summoning Sickness like Mother of Runes does, or maybe something different like Giver of Runes, so that's pretty cool. I'll put a Sword on the sideboard. I haven't been too impressed with Sword recently, and I think a lot of the games where Sword is relevant, we have a pretty good game 1 against them, so I wanted to play the 2 Abrupt Decays in the main deck, so I was pretty happy to cut a Swords. There's a few matchups where Swords just isn't really a thing. A lot of the combo decks like Ant, Tez, and Doomsday. Some of the Oko decks, it's just not that great. It is kind of nice to make sure we can get around Icevein Quaddle, but with Plague Engineer in the deck, I think that we can have less removal and more creature-based answers. Kai is also in here as removal, which I'll get onto shortly. But yeah, I think Fiend Artisan in the first stream was actually really good. I was a big fan of it. And even as itself, just as a big creature in the late game, it was quite effective at applying pressure pretty early on. So Gaea has been all the talk recently, at least on the Green Sun Zenith, because it's not often that Maverick gets a 3-mana walker. You see a lot of Vraska, Garruk, Gideon, but a Planeswalker that you can get out on turn 2 and also tick up to be out of bolt range is pretty phenomenal. The exile effect is really nice, hitting things like Mox Diamond, Astrolabe, Aether Vial, Delver, Mother of Runes, Noble Hierarch, Birds of Paradise, Gilded Goose, food tokens. There's a lot to love about it, and I really enjoy her in the main deck. Even her ulti, we have won a few games with her ulti, which isn't too hard to get to, which is pretty funny. Also just a really good card against Doomsday because all their cards get exiled, but you've got to be pretty lucky to get that on board against Doomsday. The one card that I don't really like is that I've gone down to 1 Sylvan Library. I do like the 2 libraries because of consistency reasons. But I think in this list where we have the Fiend Artisans as well, on top of Green Sun Zenith, it should be okay. So that should be pretty fun. I did add in a Blast Zone, but I have also gone up to 4 Jewels, 2 Bayous and 1 Savannah. I think with Green White Black you can get a little bit caught out by not having the black mana when you need it. So especially with this version with Thoughtseize, I do want to have as much access to turn 1 black mana as usual, so I want to have 2 Bayous in the deck because they're fetchable. And most decks run 2 Savannah, 1 Bayou, but I think in this case it's not too bad. I didn't want to be too greedy. Echo, I wouldn't say that it's a staple just yet, but I definitely have no reason to move it away from being a 2 of, which is cool. Do you think the Exalted on Pridemage outweighs the harder hate of Collector Ouphe? Yeah, it's an interesting one. I haven't really been paying attention to what the average toughness of creatures are in Legacy right now. Qasali Pridemage is nice because it does give that team aspect of giving Exalted. It kind of does a lot more on the field than something like Knight of Autumn, whereas it gives other creatures a little bit of a pump when you attack with them. So it's not just dead. The one reason that I like Qasali Pridemage over Knight of Autumn is because you can actually interact in your opponent's turn. You do have that sort of instant speed chance to destroy an equipment or destroy a sneak attack or something with maybe a fetch on the stack. But I do see Collector Ouphe as a better Gaddock Teague against the decks where you want combo hate. So I would actually compare Collector Ouphe, funnily enough, to Gaddock Teague and not so much Pridemage to something like Knight of Autumn. But I do really like Collector Ouphe in this build. I think that a lot of Maverick decks have moved away from Stoneforge, so you're not getting hit yourself in any means. And there are times where Collector Ouphe can just be a lot better than Teague is against some decks. So one interesting thing is that Gaddock Teague is usually pretty dead against sort of lands decks and Death and Taxes, but Collector Ouphe is actually also really strong against those by shutting down their Aether Vials and Mox Diamonds and equipment package. But yeah, Teague's interesting. Teague, I feel like the CMC of a lot of decks that Teague used to hate on has just dropped. So instead of being really great against Miracles, where you have Terminus, Jace, maybe Supreme Verdict, they now have Oko Teferi to bounce it. A little bit more leeway with Swords to Plowshares and Snapcaster Mage. And against Ant, they do have other ways to win. But it's a little bit tougher. But I think Collector Ouphe just does the best job. The one thing that I like about Collector Ouphe as well is that against Astrolabe, where they're already drawing a card off the Astrolabe, I don't really want to be Abrupt Decaying it or Qasali Pridemaging it because you're then down a card on their upper card. But at least with Collector Ouphe, you're dealing with the Astrolabes, but they have to then spend another card on the Ouphe to actually get off the field. So I do like Collector Ouphe in that regard, that it gives you outs to cards that have already got value, that then your opponent has to actually spend a card on to remove. A little bit like Plague Engineer. So Icewind Quaddle is a pretty big issue for a deck that likes to be aggressive at times like Maverick. So if my opponent can play an Icewind Quaddle and draw a card, but then it gets taken out by Plague Engineer, at least they have to spend another card on the Plague Engineer to get rid of it. So it's kind of about leveraging the amount of value that your opponent gets and making them actually use the cards to deal with the ways that you have to deal with their value cards. Yeah, Thalia Heretic Cathar is a really cool card. I actually played with Thalia Heretic Cathar in a green-white version recently. I actually like Thalia Heretic Cathar when a lot of basic decks are around. So when decks like Snowco and even some Miracle lists, it just gives you a little bit more outs to allowing Wasteland to actually have an effect on the game. So although you might think that a lot of decks with a lot of basics, Thalia wouldn't be doing too much against, it actually makes their fetch lands come untapped, which turns on Wasteland to actually take out a mana source, which is really nice. So I definitely think there is a deck for Thalia Heretic Cathar in Maverick. I think it's probably green-white. But yeah, I think that people have been turned away by thinking, oh, if no one's playing Jewels, they're not coming in tap, so then Thalia's worse than a different meta. But I think that Thalia does a lot against the basic decks because it actually gives you options to use Wasteland against their fetches, which is pretty sweet. It's also just, you know, a 3-power first strike creature, which is great against Elks, great against Icefang. It means that Icefang, of course, comes in tapped. Snapcaster comes in tapped, where sometimes, you know, attacking with a Collector Ouphe or you know, maybe a small Fiend Artisan is actually not the way to go. So I do like Thalia Heretic Cathar. I just didn't fit it in this list, unfortunately. But it would be pretty cool to fit in. I think that Maverick has a pretty hard time against Sneak and Show. So Thalia, there, apologies, is really good. So our Dark Clad, I am 100% agree with Heretic Cathar finding space somewhere. I've gone back to Thoughtseize in the board. I didn't like it because I was usually spending a mana on Thoughtseize, and my opponent was losing a card but not spending a mana themselves. And usually most of the time against a lot of the Dreadhorde decks, you're taking a card they're going to get value from later on in the game. But I do kind of like it now with Surgical, and just a way to deal with what is coming from your opponent. I think that just seeing their hand is actually a lot better than taking a card, which may sound weird, but I think that if I have a Green Suns and I also have a Thoughtseize, then I might want to know if I want to go for Scavenging Ooze or Collector Ouphe. I want to know if it's correct to play around, you know, a Spell Snare, or to try to get some basics online because they have a Wasteland heavy start. Or maybe I want Scryb Ranger because they have a Delver. So the knowledge from Thoughtseize is pretty awesome, and it's not something that the other colors of Maverick have. So I want to try Thoughtseize out again, but it is pretty tough because it also kind of takes the spot where you could play something like Chalice, which is really nice because Chalice against some of the unfair decks, it is a turn 1 play that you can play for 0 most of the time. That doesn't affect you. But this should be pretty interesting. I believe I also have... Oh, maybe not. I thought I had a Soul Guide Lantern. Interesting. There it is. Okay, so we are still playing Chalice. I thought so. So we are still playing Chalice and a Soul Guide Lantern. So I'm playing Soul Guide Lantern over Tormod's Crypt, mainly because I'm not too scared of Chancellor right now, which is one of the big reasons to play it. You can still play it on turn 1 around Chancellor, and then if not, you can still play a turn 1 threat or a turn 1, you know, accelerant, and then play Tormod's Crypt as well. It doesn't really take you off your curve, which is kind of cool. But I think with Soul Guide Lantern, because it draws a card, it's what I really want. And right now with a lot of Loam decks, Uro, Dreadhorde, the exile target card from a graveyard ETB is really effective, and it could be enough. So the great thing about Soul Guide Lantern is that it gets instant value straight away, and then you can actually cycle it for a land or a card down the line, which is really cool. So I do like that it exiles your opponent's graveyards too, not just your own as well. So it doesn't shrink your Fiend Artisans or Knights or Scavenging Ooze. And it can be replaced, which I think is really good right now. And I think being replaced is some of the value that you really need right now as Maverick to keep up with the other value decks. That's pretty much it. We'll see how this goes. Should be pretty fun. Yeah. Just to note on the Fiend Artisan as well, because I'm playing 2, I did cut a Green Suns, because it does kind of do the same thing. I also cut a Sylvan Library. I didn't really want to cut into my creature base, so I cut on some of the search and consistency parts of the deck because Fiend Artisan allows us to kind of do that. Chalice is pretty good. So Chalice is mainly there for Chalice on 0, but in the later games it can be really good. So there are times where you can Chalice on 1 or Chalice on 2, but I do dislike it because it is another turn 1 play on top of Deafening Silence and Thoughtseize. So although we don't play Soul Lands, with a Mana Dork against some decks, getting it out turn 2 on Chalice for 1 isn't too bad. But it's obviously... I think it's... You know, Maverick isn't a Chalice deck like Eldrazi is, or maybe 4-color Loam is, but we can still take advantage of it because it doesn't really hit us, and it can really slow down our opponents because a lot of the times against a lot of the fast decks that Maverick has pretty poor matchups against, although Chalice for 0 isn't backbreaking, it's the speed bump that you need to then set up a board state that your opponent then can't deal with. So although Chalice isn't the greatest as it could be in a deck with Soul Lands, it's still really nice for us because it achieves what we want to do. We want to set up some small speed bumps for our opponent, and then once they get over them, they then see, okay, well, they've actually built a board state now that I can't deal with. So Chalice should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I have been a fan of it in the past. should be pretty good. But yeah, good questions. Nice. Legacy. Yes. Yeah, on 0 is pretty nice. Because even if they deal with it, then if we have like Collector Ouphe down, then all their, mana rocks won't work. Or if they deal with it, and then we have, Thalia out, then it's a little bit hard. It definitely is. I think Deafening Silence is a lot better than some decks, but I think Chalice just has a little bit more... It comes in against a few more decks. So against something like Elves, I would definitely bring in Chalice on the play, but I wouldn't bring in Deafening Silence. So yeah, I do like breaking up my board between, instead of having the 4 Deafening Silence, actually making room for a card that comes in for a few other matchups. But I think Deafening Silence is really good. I think the only thing that I would change if more Elves was around was maybe changing one of these to Aethersworn Canonist, which would be pretty sweet. But yeah, Artisan, that's a good point. Playing a Legacy League, Grim Up Black Maverick, play points. There we go. There we go. We will play our match. Nice. Hope you guys are well. Aircon on. Nice. There we go. But yeah, Fiend Artisan has been pretty solid so far. Been a pretty big fan. Not too hard to cast either. 5-0 would be nice. This hand is fine. I kind of like it because we have both mana acceleration, we have protection in Mum, we have some versatility in Green Suns. We can't cast this Gaea on turn 2, but I think this is a pretty good keep. Yeah, Mozo, that's a good point. I think it really depends on the meta. I think that the exile can be great. The issue is with decks like Reanimator, if you're wanting to exile something like a Grizzlebrand, they're probably going to get it out of the bin the same turn they play it. So a lot of the faster decks, it is pretty rough. But against some of the decks like Loam or some of the bug decks with Uro, then it does seem like a pretty good choice. But yeah, I think Spellbomb being able to draw at the same time as exile is also a pretty good play. I think it's a case of maybe just playing with both and seeing how they work out. So Snow-Covered Island into Preordain, and my opponent went to put one on top, one on bottom, and they didn't know what we were playing. I think I'm okay just to go for Snow-Covered into Hierarch here. Don't really want to pain myself with the Canopy just yet. And I don't think this really stops me from doing anything on my second turn. I guess that this play punishes me if my opponent goes... Oh, Dreadhorde, okay. Interesting. There's Windswept Heath, so my opponent's at 4 cards. We could play Gaea, tick up on the Preordain. We could also try to get Mum online here. I think I want to get this Gaea online. Bolt really hurts us because they get to go Bolt Hierarch, attack Gaea, Bolt Gaea, kill Gaea, but I think that's okay. I'd rather build out the board than do nothing. Could have exiled 2, and I definitely should have. Especially if they're playing something like... They're probably not playing Gurmag. They could be playing like Magmatic Sinkhole. I don't think so because they have Dreadhorde, but... Oh, it's going to be Rug. Okay, well then I definitely should have taken out both. Okay. Make this a 3/3. Interesting. Noble. I think here I just want to build out the board with my Zenith. Sorry, build out the board with Mum and Noble Hierarch. And then next turn maybe Zenith for something like... I guess we could go for Fiend Artisan, but I want to get this Mum online as soon as possible, if possible. Yeah, I like that. They obviously saw that Dreadhorde was no longer a creature that was going to use their graveyard as a resource, so I thought just pressuring Gaea was correct there, which is really cool. I'm definitely casting Mum. 3 mana. Let's have a look at the deck first. I think this Rally is actually interesting as well, but nothing has left the field this turn. So we're definitely exiling these two. We're playing Mum, we're playing Hierarch. And then we can just swing it Oko for 2. Means they can't make a weird trade of just like the 3/3 for Mum, which would be kind of nutty. Hey, Geddon, welcome. Hope you're well. I think here we just sadly lose Gaea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Noble means that we don't... We get to play Green Suns for Questing Beast next turn and play it around days, which I think is probably better than just blocking here. But maybe that's incorrect. Maybe I just want to go for something like Knight of the Reliquary as well. Yeah, I think I like keeping the Gaea as well. Because it means if they have a Bolt, they might have wanted to use it on the Mum. Now they have to use it on the Gaea, but I guess they have Oko for Mum anyway. I'm going to create a food. Okay, so they obviously have a something here. Oh, cloths. Interesting. That's really interesting, because in our upkeep, we're going to have nothing. Huh. So they didn't have days for Gaea. I think Questing Beast is just so good here that it's worth just playing it into a daze. Unfortunately. Yeah. I might just take out the daze here. Yeah, we're about to lose Gaea, which is pretty rough. And this Cloth is going to be really nice as well. Cloth and Oko is going to be really tough to beat. I assume they're both... Yeah, they're both going at Gaea, so there's no real point blocking here and putting Mum at risk. Thalia. Not really where I want to be. I guess we can draw a card here. Oh, Rally is pretty nice. We can get back Horizon Canopy. And then play Thalia. I think that's better than a fetch. Hey Static, welcome. Currently in game 1. Match 1 as well. Going after Gaea. Okay. 4 cards for my opponent. I think you just have to see if... yeah, it's tough. I guess we can give pro green. Doesn't really matter. Because if they have bolt, they have bolt. And that's a red spell, of course. Attack with both. Yeah, the rough part here is that they don't really care about if they lose the Oko because they just have the clock here. If I go down to 8, then Klotz is just going to start dealing a lot of damage. I can draw into something like Scavenging Ooze to kind of turn off the Klotz. I think I'd rather see what happens here. Swords. It's a start. Let's draw a card to Green Suns. Okay. Interesting. I think I just attack Oko for 4 here. And then what do I want to get? Knight's not the greatest here. I can't get Questing Beast. I think it is just Scavenging Ooze. So 1, 2, 3, and then Thalia attacks 4. Yeah, I think Ooze is just the best here. I could hold up Plow. I could have held up Savannah in case the Thalia dies. This game, if it goes to a third as well, I definitely have to watch my time because they currently have 4 minutes on us, which is pretty huge. I'm going to target Green Suns. Okay, so we will eat Green Suns in response. Pond is okay. Pond is interesting because they didn't shuffle first. So they can keep the 3 cards on top if they see 3 great ones, but it means they can't really fetch, or they fetch awkwardly if they do. I think I'm pretty happy to try to save this. And I can give pro green in response because then it also gives protection to the food. But if they want to bolt here, they have to, yeah, use 2 mana. Okay. I kind of have to block here, unfortunately. I can't just take 2, or go down to 2 and then die to the Collector Ouphe. Sorry, die to the Klotz. Alright, so we can kill Oko. Which I assume they have another by now, to be fair. But this Klotz is going to be really interesting. I nearly have to swords myself just to stay alive, but we'll pass and see what happens. like this. Before damage, I guess we decay the Arcanist. Mum gives pro green. I probably should have actually dealt with the food, because at least the Blast Zone can deal with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Another Oko, yeah. That's rough. Alright, Questing Beast would be pretty sweet. Wasteland. Wasteland just doesn't do enough. Yeah. Sadly, I just have to save some time. This is going to be rough. Rogue's definitely not the greatest matchup. I do like Vraska a lot because it doesn't trade with Oko, but it deals with it. I do like Shifting Ceratops. I don't mind Ramanap. What am I taking out? Taking out Collector Ouphe and Qasali Pridemage. I don't mind Plague Engineer because it also just turns off Renegade, turns off Dreadhorde Arcanist. Safekeeper probably isn't where I want to be, especially against their deck. I do like Ramanap on the play. I do like the extra swords to Plowshares. I still like Gaea. I still like Rallier. I still like the Fiends, but I think because we're not going for a certain creature fast, I'm happy just to tick down the Fiends. Thoughtseize is interesting, and I don't mind it on the play. Especially if I can nab a Klotz or an Oko, I'm pretty happy. Keep the Safekeeper. Safekeeper is interesting. Protection, yeah, maybe, okay. Maybe if that's the play. The issue with Safekeeper and Mum is that we get blown out by cards like Blazing Volley, which is deal 1 to all creatures you don't control. I think I'm happy to go down to Thalia, to be fair. We are bringing in a few non-creature spells, so... Soul Guide's interesting as well, but probably not good enough. Chalice is actually interesting. They do have Oko to get rid of it. Swords, Knights. I could see myself going down on a land, to be fair. Probably the Cradle. I don't really see ourselves going wide on the board because of the amount of removal they have, so Cradle's probably a pretty easy drop. And then it might just be a Mana Dork. I think this is pretty sweet. Yeah, I think like one of my issues as a player is that I like to try to play around stuff without actually, you know, knowing that my opponent has it, and I think that's a pretty massive trap. This hand is okay, but it's got a lot of 3-drops where if I get caught on just these 2 lands, then I get hit pretty hard. I think I'm happy to take 1 mulligan. I would like 1 piece of removal in my hand. This is actually pretty good. I'm going to keep this and probably just bottom the Wasteland. Turn 1 bird. Turn 2 Gaea. Safekeeper is interesting as well. Maybe it's actually Safekeeper that I want to drop. Will we see an actual lightning bolt on an actual Birds of Paradise? Looks like we will. Ha! Chain lightning, okay. Huh. Does that change how I want to do things? I think it does, because here I don't mind playing around Wasteland just so we can slam this Shifting Ceratops next turn. Hey Drew, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for checking out my YouTube content. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice weekend. So I guess we see here if they have another piece of removal, but if not, then Shifting Ceratops coming down is pretty nice. Okay. Maybe a little bit greedy from us to just not go for the Bayou or the Scrubland instead of the snow-covered. Double Bolt's gonna be rough. Missing the upside of Thrun. Yeah, Thrun's very interesting. I guess Questing Beast is in the same dilemma there. There's a few cards that are just not good enough in that spot. Yeah, now we get really hit hard. Just by going for the plains instead of the Scrubland, which in hindsight was just a terrible idea. Yeah, it means as well if we draw into Abrupt Decay, it's just dead. I didn't play the Wasteland either because I want my opponent to fetch up a non-basic with the Scalding Tarn, which at least gives us a hit. And yeah, my opponent going for Brainstorm over Bolt on the Noble Hierarch just kind of shows how bad we are here. We're in a pretty bad spot. And it's really Haymaker off the top or die, unfortunately. Brainstorm. Karakas, interesting. Okay, it's pretty good. A little bit too late. Probably happy to take them off their trop here. And then just attack the Oko. Yeah, the Arcanist is just so good, especially even just with one hit. We're just so far behind. We do have a few good draws though. Preordain. Yeah, Kai exiling. Yeah. Unfortunately, I just don't see myself coming back in that. When my opponent has 5 cards in hand and we pretty much have 0, even if we draw a black source, we can only cast one of these next turn, and then we're not really doing much else. So happy just to save my opponent some time there. But yeah, tough. Pretty big oof. You know, maybe just going for the Scrubland there was correct, because I think if my opponent starts on a mountain as well, then I'm pretty happy if they go mountain into Wasteland. It does keep that Dreadhorde off the table as well for a turn, so lets us dig a little bit deeper, but just didn't work out. I just expected him to, or them to. I haven't really seen a rug list yet that hasn't been. Is Brave Sir Robin a deck that plays Retreat to Coral Helm? Oh, interesting. I'm I have never played with it. I think I once played with it in Modern, but I haven't played with it enough in any... I don't mind this hand, because we can go turn 1 Dryad Arbor, turn 2 anything here. So this is actually pretty good. But yeah, it would be interesting. Maybe in some sort of... some sort of Bant Shell. Alright. We're just going to go Bayou into Dryad Arbor here. The new Counter Magic Elf is interesting. As a 1/1, it's pretty... It's not great, but I think it does a lot more for elves than it does for Maverick, if it's going to see any sort of play. I think if that was something Maverick wanted, it would have played around with something like Vexing Shusher or like Cavernous Souls a lot more. But it's interesting. It's nice that it also allows you to just cast your Sylvan Libraries and Green Sun Zeniths, but it also just dies to any sort of removal, so even if you do have it out, your opponent can still bolt it or swords it or anything. Yeah, I think it's just better at Green Sun's targets, but I think a lot of players will definitely try it. Preordain. Preordain 2 bottom, interesting. What do I want to do? I think it's just Knight, to be fair. Hey, see you, Drew. Happy Father's Day. Or Happy Father's Day to your father, if you're not a father. Oof. Okay. Big oof. Yep. Huh. What do I want here? Probably Fiend Artisan. Omniscience. Yeah, rough. Not good enough. What do I like? I like Deafening Silence. I like Night of Autumn. I like Thoughtseize, and I do like Surgical because of Thoughtseize. I like shifting Ceratops over Beast. I think we can take out the Plague Engineers. This could be blue-green, so maybe Ice Fang's in there, but probably not as a 4 of. Kai is probably a little bit too slow. Decays are probably not where I want to be. Swords can probably be trimmed to at least just maybe 1 in case we need it for Grizzlebrand. And Scoos can probably come out. That's probably it. Chalice is interesting, but I don't think it... I guess Chalice for 1 is okay. But it does turn off a lot of our hate. Blast Zone's probably pretty dead, so maybe I'd rather something instead of the Blast Zone. Yeah, maybe Chalice is okay, especially even as a late game. If we can draw these early on and then play Chalice, it might be okay. Collector Ouphe is also an interesting one, because I'm not too sure if this deck is playing Lotus Petal or not. Yeah. I think maybe then the plan is to take out Ouphe and maybe have a Chalice for 0. It does also kind of hit Lotus Petal in that regard. I think this is okay. Nothing here screams that that it wants to be in. I think because of the amount of hate we brought in that we want in the early game, I don't want to keep this. It's a pretty nice hand in the blind, but against what I know is against me, I'm going to mulligan this. Because I really want to find a turn 1 Deafening Silence or a turn 1 Thoughtseize. That's probably what I kind of got to do. And this is actually pretty great. I'm going to keep this. And... Probably I'll go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Bird and Deafening Silence, and then turn 3 Knight. So I think Mum's the card here that I don't want. Yeah, this sounds pretty good. I'm going to keep this in bottom of the Mum. The reason that I'm bottoming the Mum is that I want to go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Deafening Silence and Bird, and then turn 3 Knight. So Mum doesn't really fit. I want to go turn 1 Thoughtseize because I can't go turn... Unless I draw into a fetch land, I can't go Bird and Thoughtseize turn 2. So... They went down to 6 as well. Brainstorm, Omniscience. I guess if I take Omniscience, it's pretty nice as well, because if I draw into Surgical, that's the one card that I can't really beat. I don't think we... I think we went for a Bayou in game 1. Hey, Deadabee Donut, welcome. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice weekend. I had a very big night last night, so I'm still cooking inside. Alright. Island Pass. Snow covered. Probably want to hide the Karakas, but at the same time I want to play this Deafening Silence. Let's go... Bird... Yeah, it's true, they definitely could have Veil. Also stopping like Knight of Autumn and Qasali Pridemage. No, blue or black, sorry. Does stop Thoughtseize, and doesn't stop Surgical. Stops Thoughtseize, okay. It's Brainstorm 1. Okay, so now we don't really know what's left in the hand. We did know about Snow-Covered Forest, Brainstorm, Fetchland. Yeah, just one Fetchland. So I assume they keep the Flooded Strand and then play the Flooded Strand, and then either Ponder or Preordain. Okay. Cool runnings. Probably happy just with basic forest here. Hey, Eternal Magic. We lost match 1 to Rug Delver, or Rug Control. It was playing a few basics. And now we're down a game against what we think is blue-green Show and Tell, or OmniTell. But not looking too bad in game 2. We had a turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 Deafening Silence, so now if we can start applying some pressure with this Knight, we're probably in a pretty good position, but I really don't want to draw another land. I think if I draw another land, then it's going to be really tough. How about you? How's Brazil going? How's your weekend? No, I definitely don't want to start attacking into Icewind Quaddle. Green Suns is interesting. Huh. I think I might just want a Green Suns for Qasali Pridemage here. You had another play on the Saturday challenge. Very cool. Yeah, you guys had a really nice. I think it was last week. You had a really good showing, which is very cool. I think 2 of you guys made top 8. Yeah, you got second with Rug Delver, which is very cool. What did you play, Jack? And what time was it? Are the Saturday ones earlier than the Sunday ones? Force pitching drawn from dreams. Interesting. The question is, do I want to draw a card here? Because if I draw into... I think I do. If I draw into Thoughtseize, I can cast it here, and they can't counter it. I guess because I've already played Green Sun Zenith, there's really no point. So I might as well just do it. Yeah, in their turn. Probably just getting rid of the snow-covered forest. Yeah, Drawn from Dreams is really cool. Because they have Omniscience, it's kind of like a free dig. Honda. Kind of hope this shuffles. The sucky thing here is that my win condition is this night currently to start dealing damage. But with Icewind Quaddle being a card that I really want to play around, it's just so hard to play around it. I think my only way to play around it is to maybe... That's interesting. Oh, we took our Blast Zone. I could go for Blast Zone end step and then put a counter on it to make it a 2, and then just start attacking with the Knight. But that's not going to happen. And it looks like my opponent has shuffled but missed a land drop. Interesting. I'm just going to go for Canopy here and just try to draw some more cards. Knight of Autumn's nice. Green Suns, okay. I don't have a great out to... Questing Beast is interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, we could Questing Beast. I think Beast is pretty good because it also just applies damage. Oh, no. Cancel. That was close. Impulse. Okay, that's not too bad. Because it does mean that this Green Suns is going to resolve because they can't counter it through the Deafening Silence. And that next turn we do have Knight of Autumn to put in, which destroys Omniscience. And Karakas answers any sort of creature that they put in. So, luckily, looking pretty good. Oh, we took it out, didn't we? Haha, we took it out. I guess we can get Shifting Ceratops, which does the same sort of thing, but... yeah. Shift is fine. Yeah, should have definitely seen the sideboard before we did this. It is an oops because it takes a turn off, but in the scheme of things, it does the same thing, which is nice. Also, the Pro Blue might be a factor. Okay. This is their one spell for the turn. Chose to shuffle. Fiend is pretty sweet. Windswept. We played green-white on Wednesday, and it was pretty strong. It doesn't really come up yet, but hopefully in this match, or maybe in the matches to come, we'll be able to play it and see how it goes. I think I'm happy as well just to not swing with Knight here. Yeah, I definitely think that keeping the Knight back might just be a little bit too cautious. I'm gonna brainstorm, okay. I guess we have lethal next turn, 5, 10. Yeah, because we can turn the Bayou and a fetch land into another land, and then we can go and fetch Dryad Arbor and just try to swing with lethal with a 8/8 Knight and a Shifting Ceratops. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, this is actually just game, which is nice. 5, 10, 11 with Dryad Arbor, and then we can just cycle this Bayou. So that's 12. Yeah. And I assume they might have seen that, but if not, then that's pretty good for us. I'm going to go to the bathroom for 1 second. I'll be back in a second. I think I am happy dropping the Sylvan Safekeeper. The Blast Zone is interesting, and I think I actually like the Blast Zone over the 4th Wasteland. And then I might even just bring in the Questing Beast because it can close out games pretty quickly. So I think this is fine. A nice hand, but no white mana. So if we draw white mana, we could go Deafening Silence into Thalia, but I don't think we can keep this otherwise. The Cradle is just a little bit rough as well. Hey, thanks, Jack. There we go. Yeah, I think this is the hand that we lose to, because if we just stumble on that first draw step of not drawing white, then we definitely lose. So I'm going to mulligan this. Well, we definitely mulligan this as well. Exul, thank you very much. Unfortunately. See what my opponent is doing as well. Both mull to 6. Opponent scoping their hand. Oh, I have a giveaway as well for local players, so I'll do that after. A huge thank you to Nick and the guys at MTG Mate for giving me this this life counter, this abacus to give away, which is very cool. Pretty sweet. I've seen these in some stores, but I haven't seen it for a long time. We're gonna mulligan this, and I'll keep. Oh, I don't really want to go lower. Turn on Dryad Arbor. Yeah. I think this hand is only good if they're playing Intuition, because then we can surgical what they get, but... Yeah, I think it is a yikes and keep, but... The question is a 4 with cards that actually do something better than a 5 with just a bunch of cards? Like, even if they turn 3 show and tell, this doesn't really do anything. The extra card just might be enough, though. Yeah, I think the better 4 would probably be Fetch Land, Deafening Silence, Thalia, Land. Probably like Karakas. I mean, Surgical's not really interaction, but I think I'll keep this. But then it's a case of probably dropping the Shifting Ceratops and the Wasteland. But yeah, I think because of a lot of our hate in this matchup is pretty low cost. Our opponent went to 4, which is really interesting. Hopefully the Ponder shuffles. They chose not to shuffle. Okay, that's kind of scary. Don't draw a mana dork. Okay, Prelate's interesting. So Dryad Arbor pass. Yeah, Surgicaling the Ponder is interesting because they might have left 2 cards on top that they want. Yeah, and I think if I'm going to Surgical, I'm just going to do it now. I'm not going to wait for them to draw a card because the upside of them drawing into another Ponder and then taking that from their hand is probably lower than the downside of them drawing just a different card that they actually want. Yeah. Yeah, Ponder's not sadly card advantage because it replaces 1 card for 1 card, but it's really good card. What's it called? There's a word for it. There is a word for it. Manipulation. Scalding Tarn Show and Tell. Okay, that's pretty scary. What else do they have? They did bring in Veils, which is interesting. Submerge. Impulse. Brazen Borrower. Okay, that's cool. 1 Grizzle, 2 Emrakul, 3 Ice Fang. I think this turn we just go land. I guess because we drew this, we can go Fiend Artisan this turn, the next turn Prelate for 3. So we'll get a Scrubland. Because it allows us to play both Artisan this turn and then Prelate next turn. Hey Craig, welcome. Currently in the 3rd match against Blue-Green OmniTell. They mulled a 4, they have Land, Show and Tell Unknown. Land, Show and Tell 2 unknowns now. Please don't fetch. Okay, nice. They won the draw, I believe. Yeah, they were on the draw this game. Sorry, they were on the play this game. Oof. Nice. Name 3. Do I want to attack here? I think I'm happy to attack here. Yeah. I don't believe they'd have an Ice Fang in 2 cards. They might have even cycled it to try to draw into like a Ponder or something, or like a Brainstorm. Probably wouldn't have Brainstorm in there, so maybe a Preordain. Ah, the prize draw is after this. Okay. Cradle? Fiend Artisan. Decklist you can find on the screen. There'll be the card hoarder functionality. So this is an interesting one. I could get Thalia out. Oh, that feature doesn't work? Interesting. There you go. Hopefully that works. I think I want to get the Shifting Ceratops online ASAP, so I think the Green Suns is just going to go for a mana-producing creature. I might even just go for a Noble Hierarch, because then I can Spell Pierce. Interesting. Fetch. This probably means Preordain? We saw 3 Ice Fangs, 1 Brazen Burrower. Drawn from Dreams, okay. I wonder if I Fiend Artisan for Sylvan Safekeeper, which is in the sideboard. Ah, we probably could have, like, I don't think they can beat the Prelate. Wasteland. Oof. What do I want to do here? What about Wasteland get Thalia? Is that better than get Mum? could get Knight. Yeah, maybe Knight's good enough. And then I think I'm just sacking the Fiend Artisan because I have a second one. But I probably want to Wasteland them this turn as well, so let's go for... another creature, okay. That's fine. I guess with City Traders, they could still bounce, Prelate, and then play Show and Tell. Hey Krieg, thanks for your subscription with Twitch Prime. It's very much appreciated. Very cool for a Sunday night. But yeah, after this game, nice. Okay, so they obviously didn't have it out to the Mum and Prelate, which is interesting. Because Submerge doesn't work, and then it's really only the Brazen Borrower. So it's not like they can borrow with a Mum and then do something to the Prelate, which is pretty rough, but pretty nice to get that. I didn't see Eureka in their list. Let's quickly... Haha! Very cool, Nathaniel. Big shout out to the Toowoomba Magic community. Very cool people. Especially for 7 Point Highlander. If you're a 7 Point Highlander fan, you should check out their Discord because you can play some pretty sweet tournaments for webcam. Let's do this. We have a giveaway for my local fans, and thanks to MTG Mate, I get to give this away right now. So I have a random generator. These are just the people who obviously came into the giveaway. So let's start that. I know that Chris really wanted this, so if it's Chris, that'll be pretty funny. James W. Interesting. A big congratulations to... Wolf. Very cool. James Wolf. Nice. Congratulations. You can get onto me and I'll send this out. Big oof. But yeah, I'll message you on Facebook after this and you can collect your very cool Abacus life counter. Pretty sweet. There will be another one. You know what? Let's do another giveaway while we're here. All right. So if you type MTG Mate into the chat, I'll give away a booster. And it will be a Japanese... I'm not too sure what the set is, but it's one of these bad boys, which is pretty cool. So a huge thank you to Nick and the team at MTG Mate for giving me these as giveaways. Pretty sweet. So the Japanese boosters are actually different. They're on a different stock. They feel a bit different. And also they have these top parts where you can actually hook them in like a store, which is kind of cool, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, very cool to see some MTG Mates there. Phosphorus. Nice. But yeah, I think the last one was... I believe it was the Kraken, which was interesting. Pretty cool card. Haven't seen it before, so that was pretty sweet. But yeah, cool giveaway. I'll give you guys 5 more seconds to type MTG Mate into chat if you want to win this. I will send it anywhere in the world. I will pay for postage. I will do that for you if you want to get in on this. All right. This should do it. Oh, that's not it. It is competition, right? Is it competition? Giveaway. Apologies. There we go. There we go. I can't spell. Maybe I have to do it over here. Ah, it's Julian? Was it Julian in here? Was Julian in here? Is that rigged? I don't think it is. I think that's actually the winner. How do I... I'm not sure why this isn't working. Huh. You know what, Julian? You're gonna get it if you are here. I believe you're here. Didn't post MTG Mate. That is interesting. Huh. Didn't even type it, Julian. What is this? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. I'm gonna quickly get up this this random name generator and put each of you guys in here. Let's do that. All right. The old-fashioned way of doing things. All right. We have Natural Order. We have Chris. We have Jack. Julian can be in here. We have Gifty. Dark Cloud. Dare to be Donut. Eternal Magic, you're in here. I'm just gonna put everyone in here. There, yes. Nice. Have I missed anyone? Have I missed anyone? Yes. Krieg. You're in. Joe's, you're gonna be in here as well. Phosphorus. Okay, there we go. Joe's. All right, let's see who gets this. Pick another name. Not the way I thought this would work. All right, Craig. Welcome. You won. Would you like this to be opened on stream, or would you like me to send it to you as a clean pack? Smells good. Smells like a new pack as well. Open? Okay, cool. All right. Open from the bottom. But yeah, Julian, we're 1-1. We got up against blue-green OmniTell, which is pretty nice. I didn't expect that. And then we went down to sort of rug control, which is pretty tough. All right. I bet there's drugs in there, Australian drugs. All right, we have a nice token. A mountain, very cool. Oh, it's then a rare. I wish I knew the name, I apologize. It is the white enchantment that does things. And then you have some pretty cool uncommons. ECD, maybe? That could be it? I guess you'll see. Nice. Obviously these are a little bit off. There we go. Look at that. That's value. That's value. Congratulations. A huge thank you to you guys for taking part, and of course to Nick as well for the packs. Black Lotus? What? What? What is that? What? Black Lotus in standard? Crazy. Crazy. All right. I could feel you had one in your table. Sadly, it's not a real Lotus. It is a Lotus that I use for a lot of my tournaments where we're allowed to play a few proxies, which is nice. But it's from a friend, so it does have some value to it. Maybe you're standing behind me. I do have a camera back there, so it could be you. Ah, I think one card that everyone is talking about is the new Snoop, the Goblin, which Goblin Lucky 1 actually went on Everyday Eternal with Julian and the cast recently. So if you want to check that out, I would definitely check it out. You can find it on the homepage here. This is a this is an interesting one. So we get to cast turn 1 Mum, But we do have 2 color sources in our opening hand, which isn't the greatest. Also, having Questing Beast and Scooze could just be irrelevant in this matchup. So I don't mind this 5, but I think there's a better 6 than this 5. So I'm pretty happy to drop this, most likely. This is pretty good. I'm pretty happy here just to drop the Cradle and then keep a really nice 6 of just these cards. It's not too bad. Ancient Tomb, okay. Don't play Chalice. Simian Spirit Guide, Blood Moon? Oh, please be Blood Moon. Can't, okay, just a turn 1 Khan. That's fine. That's fine. That's pretty good. Down to 3. LED. Yep. Ooh, okay. So they get Lattice next turn. I don't think we have a way to win. I think we just concede here, unfortunately. They did exile red. Interesting. So I assume it's his Moon Stompy. We don't have Wasteland. I guess if we play the Noble Hierarch, they can't tick down the Khan anyway. We might as well see what happens here. Because if they get Lattice, then we can still attack the Khan, so they need something else as well. Red Stompy wouldn't play LED? Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, Great Furnace probably means this is going to be Painter. Okay, Grindstone's pretty good. Oh, did they just have the Painter combo as well? Surely not. Oh, they can tick down and get it. Yep. Yeah, okay. I guess if I knew this was Painter, what I should have done is played the Verdant Catacombs, because then I could get both Swords to Plowshares and Dryad Arbor in the end step if I did want to go for it. So I think here that I just played incorrectly, and I should have gone for Verdant Catacombs, because that gives me an out to Mycosynth's Lattice by getting the Dryad Arbor, and it gives me an out to Painter's Servant by having the Swords to Plowshares. But it was just a tunnel vision of having the Noble Hierarch that it's pretty hard not to play the Hierarch there. Probably didn't need to give them my deck list, but that's fine. Painter's going to be interesting. I like the Knight. I don't mind the Thought Seizers on the play. I don't mind the Vraska. Yeah. Hey, Craig, thank you. Plagues are interesting. They're probably not the greatest. Collector Ouphe is nice. Abrupt Decay is nice. The mums are interesting. Maybe it's a mum and a Sylvan Safekeeper. If this is a Goblin version, then Plague Engineer is pretty good, but I think I can just bring in the extra swords and hopefully deal with them that way. Prelate's interesting. I think Prelate for 4 is pretty good. Hits Khan. I'm not sure if they still play Chandra, Torture Defiance, and like Fiery Confluence. Scavenging Ooze is interesting. If they're playing Welder again, it's probably pretty good. Yeah, I'm only playing the 3 Green Suns because I'm playing the 2 Fiend Artisans. So I wanted to find somewhere for doing it, for playing it. The mums are interesting. Mums are pretty good against the Braids. Yeah, it's definitely not easy cutting down on Green Suns. It's kind of like cutting down on Flickerwisp in Death and Taxes. I might even just go down on a Wasteland. Actually, no, Wasteland's just... especially on the play, it's so good. Maybe I'm not doing Prelate. Prelate for 4... Maybe my plan is just to try to keep them off as much as possible before they can play a Khan. I guess Prelate kind of acts like my Revoker in this matchup. Thalia's not the greatest. I might go down on just the 2 Thalias. It's okay on the play, but it's not the greatest when a lot of their bodies are 1/3s. Questing Beast is interesting. I don't mind it because it just gets through all of their creatures. Yeah, it does kill Calm pretty effectively. Maybe it's a Knight, to be fair. We have so many ways to get Knight that I could see myself dropping down on another Reliquary. But, again... 13 seconds. Chalice is also interesting, especially on the play. Nah, we'll just play like this. This is a yikes. Just the 2 colored lands that I don't really want in my opening. Fiends we haven't seen too much of. Hopefully a little bit more of in the future. I don't mind this hand because it is a turn to Collector Ouphe, and then we can put like Dryad Arbor here. So I'm going to keep this. I probably just want to fetch for a basic here. Maybe not. Maybe I have to just go for a Savannah. Don't really care about Blood Moon in this matchup. Turn 2 Ouphe's going to be nice, but they probably have a lot of removal, at least post-board, like a Braid, so that's going to be pretty interesting. Astrolabe, of course. Wasteland. So I wonder if the play is just to go for Collector Ouphe the following turn while we have Mum online instead of just now. Like, what am I really scared of this turn? I think I can give it one more turn. I think I can get Mum online first. Turn 2 Ouphe is really nice, but I think just because I rely so much on it with this hand that I need to have Mum online. Or else this hand is kind of... I have 2 Hierarchs and a Mum. Like, it doesn't really do much. So, as good as that is, maybe if the... I think if the land was a giant... I always forget the name. Giant Furnace, then I probably would have gone for it, but... We'll see what happens here. There's Servant, okay. This is fine. Rallier. Okay. Can't do anything here. I think just going for Ouphe is great. Yeah, Ouphe is fine. Can't really attack here, but we can start attacking next turn, which is nice because the Collector Ouphe can attack for 4 with Exalted. Yeah, I wonder what outs they have to Ouphe. I assume they have some number of Abrades, but they do need to start building out their mana for that to be something they actually have to worry about. This is going to be pretty interesting. Canopy. Huh. Oh, that's pretty nice. It turns on Renegade Rallier. Sack Canopy, draw a card. Wasteland. Play Rallier. Trigger Get Back Canopy. Yeah, like if they have removal spell here and then untap and removal spell, then it's pretty bad. Braid Mum. Okay, let's give protection in response. I guess we just give pro blue. Draw a card now. Fiend, okay. Karakas. Attack first. I wonder if they actually have a second... Surely they have more snow-covered lands. There's no way they're keeping this fetch land around because if we wasteland it, there's nothing else left. I'm just trying to think if there's a reason why I want to wasteland the Bloodstained Mire, see what they get, and if they get a non-basic, then we can wasteland that, but... We don't have too much else going on. They missed a land drop last turn, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna see what they have. This also means we have lethal next turn, if we do get a turn. Okay, they do have another basic, okay. Recruit is okay. A little bit annoying. Plague Engineer. Ugh. Oh, we have it. We have it. We have it. We have it. We can get Questing Beast and then attack with the Renegade Rallier with Pro Blue. I believe that just works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we have to give Pro first. So we give Pro Blue. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fiend Artisan for 4. Done. We sack the Mum. Now we get to get Questing Beast. And swing for 7. Haha! Very nice. There we go. Huzzah! Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So Fiend Artisan there, really nice. That's pretty sweet. Especially like, you know, we had to give Pro Blue first and then yeah. Cool. That was cool. Does anything that we see change anything? Shifting Ceratops is interesting as well because it just has so much pro. I kind of feel like Shifting Ceratops is just better than another Reliquary. because they kind of do the same things in this matchup. Knight has a little bit more to it, but I think you definitely do have to give pro blue, or else you just have to sack it. You can sack the Noble as well. Okay, yeah. I was taking into consideration that we're going to attack with Exalted, but we didn't. But if my plan is to sack the Mum, then we do. Do I want anything else? I think I do. I think this is fine. Chalice is interesting, but probably not good enough. Sylvan Safekeeper is interesting. Sylvan Safekeeper and Ramanap are pretty interesting. I think I might just play the Sylvan Safekeeper because of how good Collector Ouphe is, and I'm just going to drop all Thalias, especially on the draw. I just want to protect that bad boy. Yeah, luckily because Painter was blue as everything, then we were able to get through that with Mum, which is really nice. This is interesting. I'm not sure how much my opponent is on the Blood Moon plan, but obviously this hand is pretty bad against it outside of maybe Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is also not the greatest if they cast a turn 1 Goblin Welder. I think I'm okay to mulligan this. There's some nice cards in this, but I want to try to have a bit more of a plan on turn 1. I think my mana just restricts me a little bit too much. This is okay. The hard part is the mana here. I do want a white sword source. Could keep this and bottom the Plague Engineer. I'm gonna keep this and bottom the Plague. Plague's just a card I want in the deck to maybe find with Fiend Artisan if it lines up well, but otherwise I don't really need it. Ooh. This looks like Blood Moon. Yeah. Yeah, big yikes. Unfortunately, even with fetches, we didn't have the a great way to deal with Blood Moon. But they don't have a clock currently. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, basic Forest of the top is really what we want, especially with the Sylvan Library. Force of Vigor is definitely interesting in the board as well, over something like Night of Autumn. Rough. Yeah, now they have a really good clock. So we have 4 turns if we're lucky. Come on, streamer, yeah. Forest! Ah, close. I mean, even if we draw into a forest next turn, we can play Noble Hierarch. Then it's pretty tough. Yeah, Tumblr Blood Moon is an issue, but to be fair as well, it's on me as well for not being ready for it. You know, something like a decision like Force of Vigor in the sideboard instead is just so much better. Yeah, full credit to the Painter deck as well. Very cool to see. Like I pretty much a turn 1 win in game 1, and then just like, you know, they obviously saw that we had a weakness to Blood Moon, and then capitalized on that in game 3. which is tough. It's tough to swallow. It's not fun losing a Blood Moon, but it's, you know, it's something that I can definitely be better prepared against. So it's definitely something on me as well as a player. I think I played Force of Vigor a few weeks ago, and I was actually pretty happy with it. Even though it's not a creature, and in Maverick you might want to have creature answers because it all comes together with the deck. But I think Force of Vigor is really nice, and there are some big blowouts that you can get. Yeah, Painter does seem pretty fun. I've wanted to play it a few times. Yeah, there's some matchups where, you know, you just can't beat Blood Moon. The play would be nice. It sounds pretty good. I'll keep this. Turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Knight, or turn 2 Fiend Artisan with Green Suns. Ooh, Verdant. Okay. Interesting. Maybe another fair deck. Swamp. Thoughtseize. Interesting. Yeah, Blood Sun's really interesting as well, especially with City of Traders. It's pretty good to be able to keep that around. Also doesn't stifle your ability just to follow up with a really good start. I'm just going to go for Savannah into Green Suns here for Dryad Arbor. Pretty nice with the Scryb Ranger as well. If this is like Pox, we get hit pretty hard by Smallpox, but I think that's okay. I'm happy to play around that for now. Yeah, Force of Vigor in depth seems really nice. I definitely have it in paper in my depth sideboard. This is interesting. I can go Knight, or I can go Dryad Arbor, Scryb Ranger, and Fiend Artisan. No, I can't. 1, 2. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. I don't mind Fiend Artisan here overnight. Especially if this is some sort of combo deck, maybe I want to go get Collector Ouphe ASAP. Hey Adrian, welcome. Hey, big fan of your lights. Those lights in your bedroom are very cool. Ah, all on voice? That's very cool. Yeah, this could also be depths. Probably the Knight was better, but I do like just... If I'm wanting to play Fiend Artisan, I do want to try to get as much reps in as possible with it. Looks like they might want to try to respond to this. I guess if they have like Hexmage and Dark Depths, it's pretty rough. We have a block with Scryb Ranger, but that's about it. 2 basics makes me think this is going to be Decay. Okay. Yeah, this looks like a slow depths, which is pretty interesting. So I do like that Knight didn't get decayed there, which is nice. Obviously playing around that. Oof, Thoughtseize, okay. Could be fit, but the 4 cards that we've seen so far are definitely in depths. And I would assume depths a little bit more than Nick Fit. Just because of the amount of decks playing basics, Nick Fit isn't in the current greatest position. But that's a nice thing about Legacy as well, is that this could be, you know, a range of decks. Yeah, Nick Fit with Thoughtseize is interesting because usually they would play Cabal Therapy because it's just another way for them to get rid of Veteran Explorer. So I assume this isn't Nick Fit. I think that's a nice way to kind of cut it out. Yeah, Wasteland should be really nice. And I think the good thing is that if they take the Knight, then the Fiend Artisan is just bigger. And if they don't take the Knight, then we just have Karakas as an option as well, as along with a big creature. Yeah, I don't think I'm comparing Uro and Veteran Explorer. Took Fiend Artisan, okay, interesting. Gonna pass. They missed a land drop. Okay. Bird. I don't mind playing it out like this, where I can play Knight but also hold up Wasteland. Nice. Opponent with 5 cards, so they obviously have some amount of gas with no lands in hand. There's a land. I don't want to hit the Thespian stage here because what they can do is just copy a basic and then it fizzles the Wasteland, so I'm gonna just untap. Windswept, interesting. Windswept does allow me to do some pretty nice stuff. I'm gonna fetch for a Bayou. And I'm gonna swing for 5. I nearly have lethal with this Knight by itself because we can untap and do some shenanigans with destroying our own lands. So I'm going to copy the Swamp here. And I think I am pretty happy just wastelanding this because They're tapped out, so unless they have Elvish Spirit Guide, they can't crop rotate it away for value. This also keeps them off double black, which could be very relevant if they have Vampire Hexmage in hand. So I could keep this Wasteland around, but I think because I have the Knight online as well with two forests, I'm just gonna hit the stage here in response. I'm sure there's definitely some amount of outs my opponent could have, especially with Step rendering these flyers useless, but it's going to be pretty tough. Because unless my opponent draws a land here, they don't have another land in hand. Hey, how did Isaac go in the Magic Tour, Pro Tour, Players Tour? I know he was on top 8 and he was 13-1-1, which is very cool. We are on Karakas, which is nice, but currently don't need it, which is nice. Yeah, I believe he was 13-1-1 locked for top 8 and in top 8, but I didn't get to watch any of it. I'm going to quickly see. Ah, that's over. Okay. Cool. Bayou. Interesting. Windswept. Windswept actually does it as well. So Wasteland is 6, 7, 8. That's probably more than okay. But I might attack first. I think it's incorrect just to not give them lethal here. So I can Wasteland the Bayou, pump the Knight up to a 6/6, and then we have 8. So this doesn't really play around like crop rotation into something, but I think that's fine. I'd rather not give my opponent another turn. So they're gonna crop. Maybe a Bajuka Bog? Yeah, target me. He lost in the top 8? Okay. Still, I'm sure it paid out pretty well. Pretty happy just to leave this Knight untapped here. Nice, that's cool. Depths. They're probably on the Mox Diamond version, so I do like Knight. I do like Ramanap. I do like Soul Guide Lantern. I don't really care about Soul Guide Lantern. Unless they're on Loam. I think it's okay just to bring it in case. I do like Surgical. I do like the extra swords, and I do like Vraska. Maybe the Soul Guide's not what I want. I like taking out the Thalias. Plagues are interesting. They do hit Dark Confidant and also Hexmage and also Sylvan Safekeeper, which is nice. Blast Zone's interesting. I think that's okay. Kaya's interesting. Does hit Mox Diamond still and can also gain some life. Questing Beast might not wear... Yeah, I think Questing Beast can probably come out. Collector Ouphe is interesting. It does shut down Mox Diamond, but that's about it. I didn't see anything from my opponent that makes me think they're on Fast Steps with Lotus Petals. It's probably the Mox Diamond version. Abrupt Decay seem fine. Fiend Artisan can probably be dropped down. Maybe it's Gaea. I think it is Gaea here. See how this goes. Prelate's interesting. Maybe Prelate's not where I want to be, because there's not really one card that I want to turn off. I don't want to turn off Swords to Plowshares, so I don't really want to name one. This hand's okay. I like this hand. Has a bit of play to it, and it also does some pretty nice things against the turn 1 Bob. Yeah, Prelate on 2 is okay. Thoughtseize, okay. Yeah, I assume they have like Decay and then some mix of Sylvan Library and Life in the Loam. Mox. Playing it out this turn, interesting. Yeah, they could play Once Upon a Time as well. Green Suns. Okay. Here I'm pretty happy just to go... Oh, they're gonna Surgical Swords. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna go for Dryad Arbor. They have 2 cards left. If they have Hexmage Dark Depths, they have Hexmage Dark Depths, but... we can go and get like... We can play around that a little bit if we want, but I'd rather just build out my board. Yeah, I do kind of want a Wasteland here. I could also do it in their upkeep to, if they have crop rotation and they have to crop rotate in their turn. And I don't mind that. They only have 1 card in hand, so I'd rather just go after their mana. We have all the time in the world to set up. Two cards left. Stage. Okay. Hierarch's pretty nice. Thoughtseize us. Luckily we have 2 green suns, and I'm going to assume one is actually just going to be going for... I guess it depends. I guess we could... One could go for Collector Ouphe here to turn off the Mox Diamond, which might be worth it. Takes him off colored mana, which is interesting. Step comes in tap, that's pretty good for us. And unless they have Spirit Guide, which I assume they don't in this build, then we're looking pretty good. 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Oh, we just have it. We have. We can just win here because we can play Sylvan Safekeeper, sack 5 lands. It's very all in, but I think that's good. Hey Shade, welcome. I mean, they have 2 cards. They have no color open. Yeah, I think I'm happy just to maybe play out the Engineer. Do I want the Engineer? Probably not. I actually want to draw a card. Ramanap, interesting. Attack for 11. Nice. Nice. That's worth a snip. Oh, I can't move that. That's pretty cool. That's what it's there for sometimes. Alright, well we can at least finish 3-2, which is nice. So we lost against Sunoco and Painter, and went up against Depth and OmniTell, which is pretty interesting. I do play Auslander. I play usually pretty fair decks like Junk, mid-range. I played Blue Moon for a long time, which I really like, and I'm currently building like a blue-red Delver deck, which is pretty sweet. Just a lot of really fast creatures. Probably playing Time Walk. Probably playing True Name. Then I'm not sure of my other point. But yeah, big fan of Auslander. Big fan of the community as well. Really good community. I'd love to go first. Yeah, Jimbo's streaming it, which is really nice. So I'll probably go raid them after this. I'm going to keep this because it's a turn 2 Prelate or Engineer. Hey Freeman, can you send me your list? Is that okay? Can I look at your list for Green Suns, Zenith, MTGO? Can you send me an email? Because I would love a list to start with. If that's fine to you. That'd be very cool. Opponent having a good think. Legend, thank you very much. That's really nice. So I'm definitely having Blood Moon flashbacks here, but I think I'm happy just to go turn 1 Savannah into Green Suns, and then the next fetch can allow us to play either Prelate or Engineer. If I go Forest into Dryad Arbor, we can't cast the Prelate turn 2, so... Oh, very cool. Yeah, Bug's really good as well. I've got a few friends that play Bug. Really strong deck, especially with Uro and Oko in the format. And then just a lot of great 2-for-1s, or even just 1-for-1 removal. It's a really strong deck. Chris Raymond might still be in chat, who is a big proponent of the deck. Mountain. Interesting. Mountain. Huh. Okay. I believe my opponent has played red Eldrazi before, which is interesting. So in that case, I don't mind going for Scrubland Prelate for 2, because that turns off Punishing Fire. That also stops Chalice for 1, which is quite nice. Grove, okay. Spirit Guide. Clots, interesting, alright. Thalia. I think I still want a Wasteland here. Wasteland, play Engineer on Eldrazi. Swing for 3. Swing for 2. It keeps... it doesn't keep him off Thought Knot. Huh. Maybe then I just want to play Wasteland and then hold up Swords to Plowshares. Because I can't really beat Thought Knot here. So I'd rather just hold up the swords. Clots is going to be really good. Clots is going to be pretty impressive. Interesting. This is a card that we don't really have an answer to in Maverick. We do have Council's Judgment, Thoughtseize, Celestial Purge, you could play. Rabble Master, interesting. I think I'm happy just to get rid of this now. We do have another Engineer in the deck, but I think I'd rather just use my mana effectively and just keep attacking here. They're down to 3 cards as well. Noble. I'm definitely going to take care of the Ancient Tomb. And then I'm pretty happy just to fetch for a... They probably play Blood Sun. I'm probably okay just getting a bio here. Attack for 5. Play Thalia. Play Noble. Yeah, I guess Thalia is a pretty good hit. And we can still just hold up the Swords to Plowshares, to be fair. So maybe that was just a waste of his swords. I don't think they have a sweeper in the deck. I could be wrong. But thankfully I don't think they do right now. Another Noble. I do want to play this Noble Hierarch, because if we draw Green Sun Zenith, I probably want to go for Questing Beast, just to try to close out this game as soon as possible, but we'll see what happens. I believe they play Blood Sun, not Blood Moon, which is definitely interesting. Oh, 6 CMC Chandra, cool. Fire Confluence would be cool. Legacy's been interesting. Definitely back to just like pre-Oko days. Decay. Decay does nothing here. Alright, we get a turn. Wow. That's pretty rough. I mean, they just didn't really have anything. Alright. Knight, yes. Ramanap, yes. Swords, yes. Vraska, yeah. Shifting, not too bad. Thalia, probably out. Prelate, probably still in. Mum, yeah. Sylvan Safekeeper is interesting. So I'm going to try to find a list. I think this looks like a list. Thought-Not-Seer, Simian Spirit Guide, Reality Smasher, Rabble Master, Bone Crusher, Eldrazi Obligator, very cool, very cool. Sudden Shock, Abrade, Punishing Fire, okay, 2 is pretty good. Chalice, Chromox, Fiery Confluence, Perforos's Intervention. Interesting, okay. Blood Sun, Big Chandra, okay. Cratermaker's pretty good, Dead Gone, interesting. Ratchet Bomb, Trinisphere, Fairy, Red Blast, okay. Interesting. I'm just not sure what's better than Thalia. Gaea is good against some of their fast mana and Chalice, but that's about it. I think we just have better answers than Gaea. Beast is fine. Beast deals with Rabble Master really nicely. Yeah, Mums are... I don't mind Mums because of the Punishing Fires, and also Eldrazi Obligator is pretty rough. Gaea can help against Clots. Yeah, that's very true. Skoos does as well, though, which is interesting, because we can just keep them off it with Skoos. Hmm. "55 seconds. Bone Rusher kills Mum. Yeah, that's true. Of course, Mum doesn't stop because it's colorless. Okay, so Sylvan Safekeeper there is better. Alright, let's go down. I guess we go down to Mum, that's 60 anyway. So I don't mind this. And then maybe if we see some more of their actual permanents in Game 2, we can make a judgment call on how we want to sideboard for Game 3. This hand's fine. Turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Knight, we have Swords, Collector Ouphe. Pretty good hand. Even a turn 1 Wasteland if needed. And no Blood Moons, which is really nice. Chromox, okay. Okay. I wonder if I just want to go for Wasteland here. Wasteland's pretty good. If they don't have something big next turn, we can go turn 2 Collector Ouphe and Wasteland. We can't. Yeah, okay. Well, that means then we go for Hierarch. We could try to keep... Yeah. I could keep up the swords, but I'm happy just building up my mana here. Yeah, Blood Sun's going to be interesting. This is another case where Force of Vigor would have been fantastic. Mountain Valley, interesting. Clots. Okay. Not too bad on an empty board. I'm not too unhappy with that. So I believe we can't fetch either. Yeah. I wonder if then it's just Scryb Ranger and Collector Ouphe overnight. Untap, return this. Play this. Play Ouphe. I now also have Swords open, which is nice. Because I can return the Savannah to untap the Noble Hierarch. Smasher. Okay. Smasher's not the worst. We can probably even take a hit. I probably don't really want to return a land here. I'm happy just to take this 5. Mum's interesting. If I prelate for 2, I don't really need the Mum. I guess I want to do it after Cloth's trigger. Just to take them, just to not give them all the mana that I have. So we can prelate and Mum, but then we can't swords because we only have 1 Savannah to return with Scryb Ranger. Unless we replay this. We have 4 mana to play with, and then we can replay it. Yeah, okay. So we can go white, white, untap return, play this, white again, prelate, 2, play Mum. Yeah, play Mother is a pretty bad one. So Cloths does nothing here, which is nice. Moss Valley's interesting. Tap for 1 and make red green. It's pretty cool, especially in this deck. Definitely helps out the mana. Yeah, it's always tough, especially when new cards are cast, that it does look pretty good, Return to Nature, over something like Force of Vigor, but a lot of the time, Force of Vigor is just a 2 for 2, and it's just so good against some decks where they just don't expect it as well. Yeah, Vigor's definitely higher impact, but it is nice that something like Return to Nature comes in against a lot more decks. Hitting Collector Ouphe. That's fine. So let's go untap Noble, return Savannah. Swords this, and we will discard the Windswept Heath. Wasteland. Still gonna play the 9. And just hope my opponent doesn't have Tabernacle. That'd be pretty good. That was the joke. That surely will not happen here. Oh, Tabernacle's lost its ability? Interesting. Interesting, because I thought it gives the ability to the creatures, so it would be the creatures that would still have the ability. Obviously not. Just a pass back, wow. So I think like Knight of Autumn's probably the best card to get here. Smash is pretty good. Interesting, they didn't do it main phase. Decay. Oh, Decay. We don't have black mana yet. Huh. Oh, we do at night. Interesting. Huh. But I have to play the Savannah. Interesting. I'm just gonna pass here. Yeah, I think if you're a player like that, then Return of Nature is nice because it comes in against graveyard decks, it comes in against some of the fair decks that have artifacts or enchantments. Going for mana, interesting. Oh, another Blood Sun? Haha, no. Yeah, I can't really do anything there. I think I just have to take this, unfortunately. I guess we can take care of one, and then if we draw into another Decay, we can take care of the other. Is it really worth it? Maybe it's worth it just holding on to the Decay for now. Yeah. I think just because there's two, I'd rather just try to not worry about it now. Windswept. I think I just swing for everything here. Take out sword, we got a 6. Go to combat. Alright. We go down to 1. And then they might have another one of these. Can't really do anything. I guess we could, like, decay Chrome Mox here, if that's a thing. 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess, oh, they can use... Okay, they didn't have anything. Interesting. I don't think we missed lethal because we couldn't attack and then do anything with our lands because of Blood Sun. We couldn't activate the fetch or Wasteland. Unfortunately, but the 3-2 is not too bad. 3-2 is kind of nice. I always like to keep my head above water when I'm testing out new builds. And Fiend Artisan was pretty sweet. Decay is sadly non-land 3MC or less, so you can't Abrupt Decay your own Dryad Arbor. Unfortunately. But close one. This match, this list was pretty good. I didn't mind the Safekeeper. We did win a game where we just got to destroy all our lands and actually attack in for lethal, which is very cool. Prelate was actually pretty good as Thalia number 4. Plays around things like Plague Engineer, allows us to go wide on the board, unlike multiple Thalias, and has a little bit more variety in what you can actually do with it. Fiend Artisan was sweet. Gaea, it's only a 1 of in the deck, so you're not going to see it too much. It's not something we can find with Fiend Artisan or Green Suns. Decay's main were fine. There were a few matchups where they're just dead, like OmniTell, but you know, if they still have something like a Icewind Quaddle, or if they see you're a Thalia deck and play out Lotus Petals early, you do have targets. It's just not the best target. The sideboard's interesting. I think I would like to play around with Force of Vigor. I think that card's really good. And tonight it would have been pretty nice. The Chalices and Thoughtseizers were interesting. I didn't really test them enough. I definitely have to play more reps with this deck to see it, but like the 3-2 was more than fine. I think some of the losses that we had were a little bit rough. Yeah, the new 1-drop creature is pretty interesting, but it's rough because other than being a 1/1, it doesn't really do a whole lot. The issue is that the Maverick just has a bunch of 1-drops that just die to so much removal that this card doesn't really do anything that allows it to stick around and actually benefit from. So if you play this turn 1 against Delver, and then turn 2 you go to cast a Sylvan Library or a Green Suns, they most likely have some sort of removal for it, and then are just going to counter the card anyway. But it is pretty tough. Yeah, Tireless Tracker is definitely a card that I would like to play in here. If I did drop Fiend Artisan down to 1, I'd probably play another Tireless Tracker, or maybe drop out the Renegade Rallier, because they're kind of in the same spot of just getting value off themselves. Tracker is really nice, especially in this list that does have we have 7 fetches. We're definitely not missing land drops. Ramanap's in the sideboard, but you could move it to the main deck to make sure you're always getting triggers. Yeah, I do like Tracker if I am only playing 1 Sylvan Library. If I'm playing 2, then I might drop the second library for Tracker, but yeah, I definitely didn't play Tracker because I don't think it's good enough. I just played Tracker because I didn't have space for it, which is kind of tough. And yeah, it does have the nice upside of keeping its +1/+1 counters when they Oko it, which is kind of cool. Seems like you could jam all these sweet cards that don't quite make into, say, a singleton format. Yeah, well, I play something very similar in Highlander. But yeah, the Thoughtseizers and Chalices could be a playset of each. The Chalices are nice because usually they're just going for 0. It's not really like a deck where I want to be playing Chalice on 1 or 2, although that is an option for me. Chalice is there pretty much to counter some of the fast combo decks before Collector Ouphe comes down, which just buys me some time. But yeah, this was pretty interesting. I like the mana base as well. I thought the 2 Forest Plains, 2 Bayou, 1 Savannah, 1 Scrubland. There were still a few times where I really wanted that black mana and just couldn't find it, but that's probably just me being a little bit scared and going for basics over jewels when I shouldn't be. And I think just with a little bit more time with this deck, we'll see it progress. I'll probably try to play that new 5-drop in M21, which might not be good enough, but it does seem pretty sweet. It doesn't have an ETB, which I hate. You have to really untap with it for it to be good, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to say the least. All right, a huge thank you to everyone who came in and watched. We finished 3-2, which isn't the worst. But yeah, I'll be back on Friday night this week. I'll be back Friday night and Saturday morning with Maverick again. I might even try to get in another league tomorrow night, but we'll see how that goes, just for time constraints. But Elder Gargoth, yes, that is it. Gargoroth. Elder Gargoroth. Yeah, if you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Twitter/Dukes on Twitch. If you want to find all my videos and streams, you can find them at YouTube/Dukes on Twitch. You can find all Maverick content at the Green Sun Zenith, of course. And of course, also a big shout out to the Maverick Discord, which is very cool. Huge community, really helpful. Certain Discords for different builds. Really cool people. You guys are more than welcome. I'm going to see if Jimbo is still streaming Highlander, because that would be very cool to raid into. Jimbo, of course, the owner of a store in Melbourne, Australia, called General Games. And there he is, epically. Okay. Let us raid. Epically. Cool. Nice. All right. All the best. Stay safe. Hope you guys had a nice weekend. If it's still your Sunday, enjoy your Sunday. My name is Zooks on Twitch. I will see you guys back this week. Thanks.
What team battleground?